Welcome to the bottom of it with your host Josh Moriarty.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in to the bottom of it with me, your host Josh Moriarty. How you doing out there? I hope everyone is doing good. Today's episode is with Ladyhawke, aka Pip Brown. She's an old friend of myself and my other boys in my band. We've known her for a long time, probably over 10 years. We met in Wellington in New Zealand, where we were all playing in bands back there. She moved to Melbourne, then went off to London and started doing her Ladyhawke thing, and it all blew up. We were very, very proud of it. It was nice to see someone from back in our hometown making it internationally. So yeah, caught up with her recently at her house in LA. She's been living there for a few years. We talked about sobriety, we talked about depression, the music biz, all of those sorts of things. New Zealand self-deprecation. Shooting the shit. So here we go, Ladyhawke, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy. Hey, well that's all right. So now you can tell me what you've been up to.
Sweet. Since when, like?
Since when? I guess recently. You got a new album.
Yep.
Happening.
Yep. So I started working on that probably around end of 2014, and finished it mid last year, 2015, and then just was waiting for ages. I got it mastered and mixed and everything, and then sort of now it's all about to kick off. So. And
then what, touring again?
Yep.
Straight back into
it. Yeah, straight back into that old thing. So I'm off at the end of March. What month is it? May. Off at the end of May, and then all around UK, USA, East Coast, West Coast, then Australia and New Zealand.
And then more after that, does it?
Yeah. It's sort of this tour is like an initial. Just a little one. You look at all the dates in a row and you're like, holy shit. But it's definitely a smaller. Like, I'm not doing as many places in each territory as what I normally would. I think it's just like a build-up tour, and then when the album's out, then I'll do a proper big one.
Are you hoping for this to be a big album or like a huge album or anything like that? Or is it just another? Like, I wonder how everyone sees it when they do their own things.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really. It's really hard to anticipate how something's going to go.
But are you planning more promo or anything than you've...
It's whether people want to do promo with you or not, whether it's interesting. And so far, the promo I've had for this record has been the best I think I've ever had, which is exciting.
Really? Because there was a lot going on that first...
Yeah, that was...
album.
Also, the world has changed. I mean...
How long ago was that?
That was 2008, so it was 8 years ago, my first record.
All right, it's we're getting to nearly 10 years ago.
And that first record was a real slow burner as well, like it's sort of like...
Yeah, I guess they just kept singles kind of built, I remember more singles came out. And
I toured it for a year before it really did anything in the UK, and then it blew up. But I put a lot of hard work into it, but the whole music industry's changed now, like the way you go about releasing a record and how all the different sorts of things you have to think about, and every territory is different, every territory wants different songs as well. So but that's been really hard for me, because I've got like pretty much half my album is out now.
Really?
Because all different territories have been wanting different songs and no one can agree, so I've got like 5 songs just floating around.
Do you have ideas of how you want to do it, or is there just people around that tell you what they think?
I definitely have ideas how I want to do it, but I also know that I'm not an expert in the way everything works now, like radio and all that
it's funny though, because they always tell you something, and I don't know whether to trust them or whether they really know, and they're usually just following a formula that someone else created recently that was breaking the trend of another formula.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really... It actually hurts my head a bit to think about all that stuff. I'm kind of glad someone else does that shit for me, but I just want people to hear the record is basically what I want. So if it's getting support via multiple different songs being out, then I'm okay with that. Just as long as it's not the whole album before the album even comes out.
I don't know. Maybe that's the best thing. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's the new thing. Does it have do you have like a message behind it? Is there something, does your music have an end goal or a purpose to change people or anything like that? That's one thing I wonder about.
This one in particular was like, this was more me sort of wanting to reflect on being happy. And, because I'd had a horrible drinking problem, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The drinking patterns that one gets themselves into, living their lives in the nighttime. Yeah. And that was just real shit for a while. So I put a stop to all that. And then as soon as that stopped was when I made this record.
How did it take a while to get happy after doing that? Or
yeah, it was. I actually just shut myself off from the world because the temptation is like way too intense. Everywhere you go, you want to have a drink, and your friends want you to drink, and it's just. So I sort of 3 months with not really going out or doing anything, just like.
I think I'm still in that period.
Hibernating.
Yeah.
It's and you have to. I had to, and I still find myself doing this, like turning down going out with certain people because I know those people are big drinkers and we used to party together and they may not know that I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
So I've had to sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't come out. I'm sorry, I can't come out because I know that they might not understand and I hate that conversation.
Yeah. Well, if they're good friends, they should understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Shouldn't they?
It's just such an awkward conversation to constantly have. Be like, oh, I don't drink anymore.
I found the easiest is not. I haven't been really saying it. I'm more just when they say, do you want a drink? I'm like, oh no, I'm fine for a drink right now, as opposed to turning it into I'm trying not to drink
forever.
anymore. Yeah. It's just, no, I'm okay tonight. Do you want a beer? Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm on a bit of a detox.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, true.
Maybe that's the easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Have you done much touring since you would stop drinking?
No, I haven't actually. I did like 2 tester shows at the end of last year because I got a new band together. And then we went back to New Zealand and did a festival there, and then to Sydney and a little showcase, and that's all so far, but it was all really hard.
Yeah, right.
My nerves were just ridiculous, and I forgot how nervous I get because I used to just drink before shows.
Wow.
Because my nerves are really bad, and but then the last show I did was the showcase, and that was only, those things are usually like 6 songs, really short.
Yeah.
And I actually felt quite good after that, and I'm feeling quite positive about it now.
Yeah. Do you enjoy touring?
I do actually. I enjoy just going around and seeing different places and meeting different people, and sort of, you get to see a good cross-section of people who like your music. You can see people from all walks of life, and it's really interesting. Yeah.
Excuse me, it's tea time.
Bit of a gumboot situation.
So you were a big partier though?
Yeah. You say that like you don't know.
For the audience, whoever they are.
Yeah, used to be anyway, not anymore.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting because since I've stopped drinking, I've found that I was always a little bit crazy, I think. A little bit like...
Yeah, that was what I was mentioning before.
Yeah. I think I was, I've realised now that I am still a little bit like, a little bit mad, and can actually get to quite a hyper elevated state without even needing alcohol. I can be quite like, you just got to find new ways to do it. Yeah. So what your second album, Anxiety, is that aptly named? Yeah, exactly. That was, it was a big ball of anxiety, that whole process. And it was unfortunate because, everyone always goes on about the tough second record. And I just toured my first record for 2 years and I was really tired and, that's an understatement, I was exhausted. Yeah. Yeah, and, you were everywhere, doing everything constantly at that point, I remember. It was so tiring and there was no breaks. I was really smashing it, and I stopped touring and just couldn't cope with life anymore. I was like, I'm too tired. I don't want to make music anymore. I'm jaded, and and then had to start making a record, and it was just, I felt dark, so I made a dark album. And I wasn't, I didn't want to hide the fact that I felt dark. I was like, I'm going to, at least make something heavy, something with like grungy guitars and like really go to town on that. It's definitely a bit of a different sound, isn't it? Yeah, and I've never really been able to hide my, feelings in my music. Like however I'm feeling sort of comes out in the music, and that's why the third album, I think it's a more upbeat, positive vibe.
I saw you smiling in your new music video.
I know, it was really funny.
Nice.
The directors were like, when I was doing, like, I was standing there not smiling, my usual just like vacant stare that I do, and they were like, "Hey Pip, come on, give us a smile." Like, they were trying to make me smile. I was like, okay, like.
I liked it.
Yeah, everyone's been saying they like it.
It's sort of ingratiating and kind of. It was warm.
Yeah, it was fun. Those guys were great to work with as well. They were really funny. So yeah.
Do you do much pop writing with people now you're in LA or anything like that? I saw you did a song with Tiesto.
Yeah, I did. I've been wanting to get into that. My publishers have been, trying to push me in that direction, which I'm happy to be pushed in. But I just sort of haven't had the time at the moment.
Yeah.
It's been really busy with my own album, and I think when this album, when I finish touring out, that's something I'll get into.
Yeah.
I love writing for other people. I love it.
So you have done a bit before?
Yeah, I've just sort of dabbled here and there. And,
Yeah.
I've done writing sessions with other people, and I really like it. I you don't put any restraints on it. When you're writing for yourself, you're like overthink everything.
Yeah,
like,
you sure do.
Oh, is this Ladyhawke or no? This is not Ladyhawke. It's so shit, and you end up. You can beat yourself down pretty bad, and then writing for someone else, you're like, well, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, or just writing for writing's sake is a nice one as well.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
don't even have any sort of person in mind for it. There is a hell of a lot of that going on in LA.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's pitching for
very
somebody.
busy here. It's I've actually really loved that aspect of living here. Is everyone's quite ambitious, and I get inspired being around ambitious people. I feel like being proactive, and it gives me a bit of a kick up the butt, which I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
I need that. It's a welcome kick up the butt.
So you're enjoying living in LA then?
Yeah,
Compared to
love
so London, Melbourne.
London, Melbourne, Sydney, Wellington, Masterton.
Wellington, yeah.
Auckland for a little bit as well. So.
LA's the best so far?
It's funny because every time I'm somewhere, I think it's the best at the time. Like,
well, that's good.
Yeah, like Melbourne, I was like, this is the best it's ever going to get. And then Sydney, this is the best it's ever going to get. London, oh my God, it can't get any better. And then LA, I'm just like, this is heaven. So I feel like I probably...
What's next,
Yeah, I think I'm, when it comes to living somewhere, I'm definitely a glass half full type of person.
Yeah. Melbourne's still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice living between there and... Yeah, I enjoy the change of coming to LA and having the industry and the sunshine and all those different things. But I think after when I do a lot of touring, it's nice to just go back to Melbourne and have everything really familiar and easy.
What part are you in?
I'm living in Fitzroy North.
Yeah, I used to be in, I was on Curtin Road, I think, in North Carlton. It was just literally, is it Nicholson Street that...
Yeah.
Cuts one side of it's North Fitzroy and one side's North Carlton.
That's it.
That's where I was.
That's the hood. So you get back to Wellington much anymore?
I get back to New Zealand heaps now these days. I'm really trying. I'm making a concerted effort to do that. My family are all there. My wife Madeline's family are all there, and I just go back a lot. Yeah, Wellington maybe twice a year.
So that was where it all started, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Rock and roll back in Wellington. Was Tulane Blacktop the first band that you were in, or?
No, that wasn't the first band I was in, but it was the first band I was in that had buzz.
Yeah.
And that we actually toured and did really exciting things. And that was the first band I was in where I was like, I actually can see this being my career.
Yeah.
Like I could see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And that sort of was so important to me then. We toured Australia a few times and
I remember
America.
Because we were there a few years younger than you guys in Wellington as well. There was definitely a buzz about it. I'm kind of a little bit jealous as well that there's actually someone getting out of Wellington or even out of New Zealand and doing those sorts of things.
I remember my heroes with the Datsuns.
Those guys were amazing.
If they can do it, I can do it. That was really inspiring, and I was always asking them for advice, career advice.
I guess that was them. It was probably what was them. There was Tulane Blacktop. I'm trying to think what other ones were kind of internationally at that. Probably just the Dads.
The D4?
Oh, yeah, they did a little bit.
Yeah, they were awesome as well. I loved Good Shirt as well.
Good Shirt. They'd probably still be about.
They'd
probably be playing Edge Fest 2018 or something like that.
They were awesome. Wrote awesome pop songs.
So what? Two Lane Blacktop broke up, and then you moved to
Melbourne. Literally within weeks of us breaking up.
Yeah, right.
Maybe even days. Like it happened so quickly. Like
what happened? What was it?
We were doing a tour of Australia with a really awesome band. I was so excited. They were an American band that had come out of that whole rock and roll explosion that had happened, and they asked us to come support them on the tour, and then after that we were going to go play South by Southwest.
Right.
And just before this happened, Matt, who was the singer, you'll remember him, he just quit the band. He just didn't want to do it anymore. He was like, nah, it's done, I'm out. And then the rest of the guys quit as well. And
yeah, right.
I was just like, well, I want to keep doing this. I was absolutely gutted. Like it felt like a death to me.
Yeah, it is a little like that.
Yeah, it really is. You put your heart and soul into these things. And I moved to Melbourne because we had our flights all booked and everything for that tour.
Yeah, right.
So I just jumped on the plane and flew to Melbourne and then never looked back. I've been travelling ever since. Met Nick Littlemore within a month of living in Melbourne.
So what was he doing at the time? Was Panal?
He was doing Panal, but he'd started just a solo project called Teenager, and he asked me to do it with him. So I flew up to Sydney, met him. We had rehearsal with a full band and everything, and then we ended up just being me and Nick. And
yeah, right. Was Oscar and
Oscar was for a bit, and Dean.
Yeah, that's right. I remember them mentioning it, but it never quite manifested.
Yeah. That so we did like a few shows with those guys. It was really fun.
Was that the beginning of sort of starting to record more pop, like electronic music at that point? Yeah, well, Teenager was always quite experimental, and the music me and Nick made was always very left. It was quite I haven't really heard that.
Crazy, sort of a little bit electro, a little bit Sonic Youthy, like grungy. But Nick was always very like encouraging. He always sort of pushed me towards a microphone. And I remember one day I was playing, I was at his house and I was just singing and playing a song, and he was like, we got to go record this. And that was like the first time I was like, I'm going to be Ladyhawke.
Yeah.
I started calling myself Ladyhawke around that time, and had been working on songs, and then I left Teenager pretty much straight away and moved to London.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I remember coming to that show in Camden or whatever, in that weird little place.
This is so random, because I met someone in New York just last week. I was there for promo. Actually, a guy who works for my record label here, and he was like, I saw you in Camden at
that same show?
At
the Stables thing? Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I was at that. And I was like, whoa.
Well, I think I'd heard that you'd been doing stuff, and maybe the buzz was sort of starting.
That was right at the beginning. That might have even been my first show.
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember being like, fuck yeah, here we go. But it was like such a strong sound and package and everything.
Yeah, those were crazy days as well. It was all a blur.
Yeah. The other thing I'm interested in is just why we sort of do this in general, really. What drives us to make this music? Do we think it changes people's lives, or is it just a self-satisfying kind of thing? I'm interested to hear your take on it.
Yeah, it's weird because I have been thinking about this a bit, because I'm like, well, I can't really. I think it would be bad for my health to do something else.
Yeah, right.
I actually think it would be detrimental to my mental health. Yeah, I think, I actually think I would probably get incredibly depressed and dark, and this is the only thing I can do, and whether it's successful or not doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because I managed to scrape by. I can do what I love and get to travel the world, and it's just, I don't know, I like creating something out of nothing as well. That's always fascinated me. Like, you can start a day with no song, and then at the end of the day you've written a song that didn't exist before. Yeah. And I love that part of it, and I love performing in front of people and seeing them sing to your song. Like, you can imagine they've listened to it at home when they're vacuuming, or
Well, you know what? I guess the thing, what music's meant to yourself over the years at certain periods when you've been sad or something, and the joy that it's sport for you, but I find it hard to think about other people getting that from anything that I've ever done. Because, you get people come up to you sometimes after shows and they say, we love your album or your song or this thing, and you kind of, cool, thank you, but it's hard to really to imbibe it or believe what they're saying.
But I've
done the same thing. Like, you've gone up to people, I'm sure, and told them.
Totally. Like, oh my God, your music changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I remember listening to just multiple albums when I was a teenager and just obsessing, and just my mind, my young teenage mind being blown every single day by something new.
Yeah.
That is such a cool feeling. And I've never understood when you meet someone and they're not really into music and they're like,
Yeah.
I don't really know, not really into music. And I'm like, can't trust you. You're not into music. Like, I've met a couple of people like that. They don't know. It's not that they don't know it. It's fine to not know anything about music. That's fine. But to actually not listen to music, that's weird.
Do you still get those same feelings from when you're younger with new music, or I feel like it dissipates a little bit?
It really dissipates. Like, I was worried. I was like, is there something wrong with me? Like, I haven't been excited by music in a while, but I like Tame Impala constantly excite me with their music.
Yeah.
Every time Kevin does something, I'm like, his collaboration with Mark Ronson blew me.
I haven't heard those. I mean, I've heard them
really
just once or twice, but it sounded good.
Just such a cool combination. I can actually see them doing a full album together. Those two are just blowing minds. So I still do get really excited by stuff, but it just seems to happen less.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's because when you're young, like when you're a teenager, everything is happening for the first time, and you're like discovering everything, and you think you're the only one that's discovered it. So it's like, I know this secret. It's called music.
Yeah, I guess Tame Impala is the one that everybody I talk to, that they just got some magic out.
I know. Well, I was in, we just did a little road trip to Vegas, and we stopped in at a little truck stop, literally in the desert in Nevada somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're sitting at a table just eating a burrito, and this American family comes in, and the Kevin Parker Mark Ronson song comes on over the radio.
Yeah.
And this girl's like, yo, that's Tame Impala. And I was like, well, you know that you've made it when someone at a truck stop in Nevada knows who you are. Like, I was really excited for Kevin then. I was like, this must be so cool for him.
And he's a very pleasant chap as well.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. Yeah. He deserves everything,
Do you have a sort of end goal with all of this? Is there the album you haven't made, or, is this the beginning of your career still? How do you see it? I
don't know. I've always sort of thought of myself as like one of those long-term sort of album artists that keeps crafting records.
I think that's a good way to be.
And I definitely want the fourth record to come out quicker.
Yep.
And I think it will, now that I've sorted my shit out a bit, and I have a bit more of a clear head about things, and I've got my excitement back for music.
Hey, that's good.
Which I sort of lost.
Glad to hear.
Yeah, I think every musician goes through that though. You lose it for a little bit, and you wander around going, oh my God, have I lost my joy in music? But I've definitely got that back. So, I can't really, just continuing to write music is how I see my life
enough.
Panning out. Yeah.
Do you have other bands or other projects or anything, or more just?
Me and Liam have been talking about doing
Liam Finn, ladies and gentlemen.
Liam Finn, yep, Liam Finn, the lovely gentleman sitting in my living room right now, and me, him, and Matt Eccles, who's playing drums for me right now. Actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
So he stopped doing is he still doing Conan Moccasin?
Yep, he's doing Conan, so he's just sort of doing. He's
one of the great drummers. That guy.
He's such a good drummer, and so the three of us have been talking about doing, just for fun, a band that's like 77th or something. Like, I
would like to hear that.
Yeah, we're all really excited about it. We're just trying to find the time to do it. But we've been talking about it for quite a while, and I dream about it now. I dream that, like, the other night I dreamt we were playing at a house party and it was so fun, and
That sounds rad.
Yeah. So
I would really like to hear that.
I hope it happens, yeah.
I think that'll probably do it. I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks, Pip. And good luck for the new record and all the rest of it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Isn't she lovely? Oh, it was very, very nice to catch up with Pip. It had been quite some time since I'd seen her. All the Colours did a tour with Ladyhawke when she played in Australia probably a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago. So that was the last time we'd hung out. If you want to check out her new album, Wild Things, it's out there on the internet. You can get it. Go and buy it. It's really, really great. She's a wonderful artist. Hey, that's enough from me. Come back next time. See you next time. More interviews, more people, more philosophy of the music world. Thank you.